Right. Trying to make sure this is all working. Let's see. Okay. Seems we are live. I will give things just a minute to see who joins. But welcome. All right. Checking out everything. Let's see. Hello. Hello. Hey. All right. Yes. Welcome everybody. Hey. Oh, hi. So just kicked off, should be showing up live now. Yeah, thank you for joining this. I hope that this workshop is helpful. Hello, hello. See some people coming in. Gonna give it just maybe another minute before I start, just to give people time to show up. But yeah, welcome so far. Glad to have you guys here. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for taking the time to come join me. And I hope, hope all this is helpful for you. Let's see if I can see who else might be here. Let's see. Okay. Give things one more minute. Also, if anyone has any specific questions that they would like me to go over, like I said, I'm going to kind of go through what I have for you and then try to address any questions or anything that come up. And even at the end, if you stick with me all the way to the end, I'll have some time where people can ask questions. I also said that this will be recorded and it'll be on my YouTube channel. So if anybody is watching this at a later date, feel free to leave any comments or questions below. And I'm definitely on here and checking it. And I will get back to you, do the best I can to answer those questions. So, all right. Check in one more time. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm not totally sure how long this is going to go. I guess it kind of just depends. Probably at least 30 minutes, could go a little longer just to give all of you an idea. But yeah, all right. So welcome. Welcome to navigating the messy middle part of realizing you're a lesbian while with a man. This is probably the hardest stage to navigate and get through. So wanted to do a little workshop for you all to kind of start addressing some of the things that you may be going through during this stage. So who this is for? This is for women that are in the messy middle stage of realizing that they might be or are in fact lesbians while currently in relationships with men. Now, this is for if you're in any type of a relationship with a man. I'm probably going to start saying husband from here on out just because a lot of the women that come to me are in fact married and have a husband, and husband is just shorter than in a relationship with a man, so, or male partner or whatever. So, but just keep in mind that you do not have to be married for this to apply to you. So again, hello, happy to have you here. This is for that messy middle stage. So maybe at this stage, you are just realizing this for yourself, keeping it all inside, and nobody else knows. Or maybe you are at the stage where you've shared this with your husband, and maybe he got upset or is ignoring it, or maybe that reaction isn't going great, and you're still kind of stuck in this, okay, now what? Or maybe you've told your husband and he's supportive, but you both just don't necessarily know what to do from here, where to go, how to handle this, what this means. So this is all that messy middle stage. All right, so if any of that applies to you, you're in the right place. So what we're going to cover is the things that you may be thinking and feeling at this stage, how to get through this, and then next steps from here. So again, this messy middle is very much so this sort of, now what, where do we go from here? Okay. Also, just to introduce myself for anybody that doesn't know, my name is Emily Better. I am a late life lesbian myself. I went through all of this, and I now provide life coaching services to other women who are on this journey and going through this. So for me, I was married to a man for 11 years. We had a son together, but during this time, I realized that I was in fact a lesbian. And various things happened. I have other videos about this if you want to know even a little bit more. But yes, during this time, I realized that I truly wanted to be with women. And this led us to make the decision to get divorced. We got divorced. I came out, and I am now remarried to an amazing woman. And just to give you another little bit of a background of me too, some of the things that affected this for me were my upbringing. I came from a very religious, conservative upbringing. And for a very long time, I just never even realized that I could possibly, be a lesbian, and any feelings that I had towards women, very much so this compulsory heterosexuality and heteronormativity kind of culture that we live in just made me think that the things I was feeling were probably normal, and maybe every woman felt this way, or that just because I felt these things didn't mean that I was a lesbian. So there are a lot of very common things that women experience going through that, and I went through a lot of that as well. So, but as I said, I started my own journey and process of going through this. As part of that, I started sharing my story on YouTube because I felt like I couldn't possibly be the only woman in the world going through this, which I'm not. And that started bringing in a lot of other women questioning and saying, hey, me too. And I felt really alone. And as I really kind of healed and moved through my own journey of this, that's when I started offering, more support and life coaching services specifically for this. And then my personal background in education is I have a master's degree in occupational therapy, which that background and training paired with my own personal experience makes kind of this perfect combination to offer coaching through this. All right, so that's about me. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I do want to let you know that I do have a special offer if you stay and watch until the end. And even if for some reason you can't stay until the whole end at this time, there will be a recording so you can watch till the end from the recording too. And that special offer will still be available for a few days after that. So hello, love seeing people pop in. All right, so if you are at this messy middle stage, these are things that you may be thinking and feeling. A big one is just this, what do I do now? And maybe I can just keep all this inside of me. I see a lot of women that are just like, I'm just going to keep it inside and I'll deal with it and it'll all be fine. So maybe that's where you're at. Things you might be thinking are, my husband is a great man and he does so much for me. I can't do something that will hurt him. Or even, how do I know I'm actually a lesbian? Just a quick little side note on that one. If you are here watching this and you are struggling with this, at a very bare minimum, you are not completely straight. So, but maybe you're still thinking that, how do I know this is actually who I am? Maybe all of this is just a phase and will pass in time. Am I having a midlife crisis? I married my husband for a reason and once felt attracted to him. Maybe I can get back to that. I love my husband, but I'm not in love with my husband. And is this how all women feel at some point in time? And maybe it's just this one woman I'm attracted to. So a lot of women that I speak with and that go through this end up meeting a woman that starts all of these feelings for them. This is often referred to as the catalyst because this is what starts all of this. And so a lot of women think maybe it's just this one woman. But I can tell you that in my experience and from the women I've worked with, that if you have those feelings there, I understand where you're coming from, but it's likely more than just this one woman. So, but again, maybe this is something you're thinking and trying to figure out. You might be thinking, why didn't I figure this out sooner? Or I have kids and I don't want to ruin their lives. Or what if this causes me to lose my kids? Maybe being afraid that your husband will take them, or that your kids won't want to be around you. Again, very rarely, just to kind of put your mind at ease on that one. Most countries now don't allow somebody to just take your kids. So that wouldn't be possible. But again, those are other things that we get into at another time. But again, it might just be something that you're thinking. You might be thinking, I don't want my kids to be a part of a broken home. Or maybe I can just wait until the kids are out of the house and living their own lives. Then maybe I can explore this part of me. Or maybe my husband and I can have an open marriage, ethical non-monogamy. That way my husband can have a girlfriend and I can have a girlfriend, but we can stay married and, everything will be perfect. You might be thinking, I'm too old to start over. Or what if I go through all of this and end up alone? Or what if I go through all of this, come out, and it's a huge mistake and I regret it? Maybe you're thinking, I just can't imagine living the rest of my life without being with a woman, but I made a commitment and I do love my husband. I just don't want a romantic, intimate relationship with him. This whole thought process causes a lot of inner turmoil. Or my husband and I make good partners in life and I don't want to mess that up. Maybe you're thinking things like, is this fair to me? Or is this even fair to my husband? How do I know what the right decision is? What will people say if they find out? How do I even go about explaining this to people? I've been married to a man for however long, or with a man however long, and how do I suddenly explain that I now want to be with a woman? What will my parents and my family say? This was a huge fear of mine. Will this affect my job? Depending on what you do, that might be a fear that you have. What will my coworkers say? What will my kids say if they find out about all of this? Will people abandon me, and will I lose friends and family? And maybe you're just thinking, this is weighing on me and I'm not sure I can go on living this way, but I just don't know what else to do. I'm tired. I feel alone. I'm not sleeping well. I'm stressed. I'm anxious. I want to be able to be me, but I just don't know how without hurting everyone I love and blowing up the life I've created. I hear this one a lot. So many people so strongly just want to be who they are, but they're so worried about blowing up the life they've created. So any that I've missed, and these are the common things that I hear that women go through, and this is hard. This is this messy middle part where it's hard. It's this constant sort of inner turmoil back and forth. Where do I go from here? If anybody has any that I've missed, I would be happy to know what your fears and worries and concerns are. I would appreciate you sharing that with me. And again, if you're watching this at a later date, leave them in a comment if you feel comfortable. All right. So what I want you to know about this is that all of these thoughts and feelings are normal in this messy middle stage. There's nothing wrong with you. And everything that you're feeling and experiencing is real and valid. I've heard women themselves kind of gaslight themselves out of their thoughts and feelings, or have friends or even therapists sort of gaslight them out of what they're going through and say things like it's a phase, or maybe you need to work harder on your marriage or try different things. But I'm here to validate that what you're going through is very, very real. And it actually happens way more than you would ever imagine. I'm glad to hear that. And if you're questioning all these things and watching this, like I said up above, you're definitely not completely straight. If you were completely straight, you would not be here. Maybe you'd be having issues in your marriage otherwise, and that would be something that you would actually need other couples therapy or counseling for. But if you're here watching this, then, like I said, at a minimum, not totally straight. But I get it, that all of this is a lot to process, and it's scary and it's overwhelming. But you can't make it through. It doesn't have to be this way forever, and it doesn't have to be hard forever. It doesn't have to be confusing forever. And it really can be all okay. And you can end up living a life as your authentic self and feeling happy and peaceful and free and content. I have a question here. I'm going to look at this. Okay, I'll answer this right now just to make sure I don't miss it at the end. So I have someone asking here, is this space for me if it turns out I'm bi or pansexual? I've been with multiple women, but haven't fully figured out if I like men, was confused, or like the person regardless of gender. It definitely can be. Like I said, the women that typically I see and I work with often do realize that they are truly lesbians, but a lot of women go through a process as well of thinking that maybe they're bi or pansexual. I went through that myself. And it could be who you truly are, or, it could just be part of this journey of figuring out who you really are and what your true sexuality is. Because I would say for myself, I very much so loved my ex-husband. And I even would admit at the time I felt attracted to him. But I think so much of that was societal's norms of this is how it's supposed to be and this is who you're supposed to be attracted to. So for a long time, I identified as being bi. Okay, I have my husband and I like him and he makes me happy, but I also like women. And so that just must mean that I'm bi. In time, I realized that that wasn't the case and that I truly only did desire to be with a woman. And one of the ways that I figured that out for myself was to ask, if for some reason, so let me put it this way. When I was with my ex-husband, I very much so craved and desired to be with a woman. But after I went through all of this, when I was with a woman, I have had zero desire to ever be with a man. Being with a woman, I am completely fulfilled. I am at peace. I am content. There is no different longing or desire for being with a man. And so that's what answered that question for me. But said it could be a journey and it could be a process and it could be figuring out that you are bi or pan. And I think that the other part of that though is figuring out, are you a monogamous individual or are you a poly individual? Because if you are monogamous, then sort of the theory and mindset behind that is that being with one person would fulfill, your desire for this romantic relationship. But if being with one person isn't fulfilling that desire for a romantic relationship for you and you're wanting things outside of that, then is it your sexuality or is this more of like a polyamorous type situation? So very different aspects at play, but yes, these are all things that we can sort through and work through. Okay, I'm going to keep going with you this. So as I was saying, this is hard. It is confusing, but you can get through this and you can actually get to the point of being at peace and happy and content in your life. How do I know this? I know it because I went through it and my wife went through it. For those of you that don't know, my wife was also married to a man and had a couple kids and got divorced and ended up coming out, realizing, that her true sexuality. And then right here, these are two late life lesbian couples that my wife and I are now friends with. And they all went through this. And they live right here in our area and we are friends with them. So this happens so much more than you would realize. This is Amy and Lisa. This is another couple that I've connected with. They too live in my area and they both went through this, both married to men, had kids, realized their true sexuality came out. I actually just did an interview with them that you can find on my YouTube channel as well to know more about their story. Then this is Julie and Aaron. They went through it. I connected with them on TikTok and I also did an interview with them that you can find on my YouTube channel. They too, both married to men, had kids, and ended up connecting with each other. And they ended up realizing their true sexuality in this process too. All right, this is Emily and her now girlfriend, Allison. Emily was actually a client that I worked with who, when she first came to me, was married to a man, had kids, and had made this realization about herself. And after coming out and going through this, she met Allison, who actually at some point went through this as well. She didn't have kids, but was previously with the man. And then this is Heather. She went through it, was another client of mine that came to me married to a man and realizing this about herself and just not knowing, where to go from here. And I don't have a picture of her, but she now has a girlfriend as well. And then this is Stacy. She went through it and was another client of mine. And I did an interview with her on my YouTube channel. She went through all of this as well, came to me in this messy middle stage. And fun fact and twist about her story is that when she ended up coming out to her husband, he ended up coming out to her too. So that has been a very interesting and different take on all of this. But yeah, you can read or listen to more about her story from the interview I did on YouTube. And so I think she is now in a relationship with a woman as well. So just some examples of people right here that went through this and made it through. This is really amazing too. So I posted a video on TikTok and Instagram asking if anyone who went through this has regretted it, because I know that's a really big fear. A lot of women are like, what if I go through all of this and it's a big mistake and I regret it? And so not one woman that replied said she regretted it or that it was a mistake. And these are some of the comments that I want to read to you because I think these are just really encouraging and uplifting. So this says, best decision of my life. I should have done it sooner. My quality of life and happiness is more than I ever thought possible. And then zero regrets coming out and moving forward with my life in a way that finally felt right. I sometimes wish that I hadn't waited so long, but I'm grateful for the lessons and the choices that eventually led me to where I am now. Best decision of my life. Making the decision earlier in life would have been nice. However, I might not have met my amazing fiance and had such an easy transition to living my authentic self. My now 18-year-old son, friends, and family have all been beyond accepting and supportive, which truly helped. I've never been happier or more content. So feeling so much better than ever. Divorced over 3 years ago, came out slowly over time, but I'm guessing this is more so 2 years ago. I've only been out a few months, but I have no regrets. I have the best girlfriend and I have never been happier. It has been challenging to negotiate since I was married to a man and have 2 small children, but I am the happiest I have ever been, ever. No regrets, even though it was so hard, worth it. I'm 6 months in and it's been hard, but still no regrets. No regrets, everything makes sense now. I'm happily married to my wife and we have the most amazing little boy. And these are just a couple other comments I've recently had on some of my social medias too. This says, was married to a man for almost 6 years, together for 12, and now I've been happily married to a woman for almost 8 years. It was the best decision my heart ever made for me. And this was a comment that says, I'm 47 and I just came out. I feel so free and happy now. And there are hundreds of other women who are out there who are or were right where you are, but who have also made it through as well. And I have one more really powerful example I want to share with you, because I think that this shows just kind of how life-changing this can be. So this was actually from another woman who was part of the program that I run. And she shared this with our group right before the new year. And so she says, hey, all, I just had some realizations on my drive home, and I wanted to share/celebrate them with you all. I started this year severely depressed, angry, and trying to conceive a baby with my husband because I thought that would fill the void I was feeling. I was channeling all my frustrations into my body dysmorphia and anorexia. I was suffocating under a mountain of credit card debt because I had been emotionally spending for years. 7 months ago, I met blank. She met a woman and attempted an open marriage between her and my husband. I found such a connection, acceptance, and genuine partner in the woman she met that after a month, I knew I had to leave my husband. I'm ending this year divorced, completely out with my sexuality with my friends, family, and colleagues, and I've paid off almost $30,000 of debt. I'm driving home to the most amazing woman to snuggle in jammies with at 9 p.m. and waking up to a genuinely fresh start in 2024. I feel like I'm finally living for me for the first time in over a decade. I'm thriving in my career. I'm mending my relationship with my mom. I'm excited to continue some self-healing with therapy. And I've literally got a best friend, a lover, and an accountability partner all in one. I feel over the moon and just feel like I'm bubbling over with true joy. I know I haven't participated in the group chat a ton, but it's been really helpful and encouraging just reading the chat and knowing I'm not alone in this battle. I have so much gratitude and love for this group and Emily. I'm excited to see where life takes us all during this new year, and I'm looking forward to getting to know more people and sharing this journey with you all. Happy New Year. So while all of this is really hard, I feel like this is such a strong and powerful example of just how life-changing this can be and all of the good that can actually come through it once you get through this messy middle. All right. So now that I've shared these examples of women who've made it through, you might be thinking this, but I don't want to leave my husband, because I'm very well aware that the examples that I shared are of women that usually made the choice to leave their husbands and get divorced. And I want you to know that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do and that doesn't truly feel right for you. But if you were truly happy and fulfilled and completely satisfied in your marriage to your husband or relationship with a man, you very likely wouldn't be here watching this. You wouldn't be having this inner turmoil. You wouldn't be having this struggle. And so just something to think about as you're going through this. Because again, if this one man was all that you needed, you wouldn't be right here with me watching it. Okay? So let's go into how do I make it through. Number one is you just have to decide. You have to decide that you can't live your life in this messy middle limbo stage forever. Decide that you want to figure this out and figure out what is truly right for you. Decide that your mental, emotional, and physical health and well-being matter enough to do something about this. Going through all of this causes typically so much stress and anxiety and depression. I mean, you saw what the woman in the group shared about, having body dysmorphia and, just anorexia and all of this. This can weigh so heavily on you in ways. And so deciding that you need to do something because your mental, emotional, and physical health and well-being matter enough to do something. So decide that what's right for you matters and is important. So many women prioritize everybody else's needs, and that's the same thing. Decide that prioritizing your needs and wants and feelings also matter and it's just important as anyone else's. Many women going through this want to sacrifice their own needs and desires to try and keep everyone happy and to try and keep the peace, but deciding that your needs matter too. Decide that you want to figure out who you truly are and also be who you truly are. Decide that even though it might hurt, that other people's thoughts and feelings and perceptions of you don't matter if it means you have to live a life denying your true self. We should not have to hide who we truly are just to keep other people happy. And then decide that you want to show up in life in the way and in the world as your whole true self and be loved for exactly who you are. I know a lot of people are very afraid to lose friends or family or people that they care about if they go through this and if they come out and show the world their true selves. But the people that truly love you will continue to be there for you. And as I said, you should never have to hide who you truly are and deny yourself just to make other people happy. All right, so number two then is having some support. Rarely does anyone on this journey make it through completely on their own, and having support does make it immensely easier. So support can come from friends, family, coworkers, therapists, counselors, coaches, online communities, support groups, YouTube, podcasts, and books. This is becoming a much more well-known thing, and there are actually things out there in place. There's a lot of people writing books. I actually currently have another interview planned with a woman who released a book about this. And, so there are some books out there. There are some podcasts. There's my story on YouTube. I think there's some others. The more support that you have, the better and the easier this is. But it is often even more helpful to have support from people who've been through or are going through this too. There is just a total other level of validation and feeling really seen and heard when you can connect with other women who have gone through this or are going through it. You know, friends can be great, but if they haven't experienced this, sometimes they still just don't fully understand or grasp everything that you're going through. So yeah, number 2, having some type of support. And number 3 is doing something. So you can think that your feelings matter, and you can think that something needs to change, and you can want to figure this out, and you can have friends or someone to talk to about it. But you have to actually start doing something. So that could be getting specialized support just for this. This could be opening up about your feelings. You know, maybe this is something you've been holding inside, and have a tough conversation. You know, maybe you're really afraid to share what's going on, but you might need to start getting this out. Also, stop people pleasing. You know, as I kind of said, so many women going through this often want to sacrifice their own needs and what's right for them to try and keep everybody else happy. This falls very much so under the realm of people pleasing, and starting to finally advocate for what you want and need, and to take action on, you know, advocating for what's right for you. It's really, really difficult to do that, but these are the things you have to start doing in order to start getting through this and to be able to have what's truly right for you. So, next steps with this. If you are ready to do something about this and take action, ready to figure this out, and ready to prioritize your needs and well-being, and you would like to have some support that is specialized specifically for this and connects you with other women who are going through this too, these are a couple support options that I offer that give you exactly that. And also, if you'd like to work with me. If you don't want to work with me, or you have some other supports in place, then great. But if you would be interested in working directly with me, these are the ways in which you can do that to give you more direct support to help through this. Sorry, I was reading a couple comments. I see there's a few comments coming through, but I'm gonna go through this part and then answer questions at the end in the comments that have been left. And then if anybody else has any other questions, I'll go over those at the end too. So the first option I have is the Coming Out on the Other Side program. This is a 12-week online group support program. It's specialized support and guidance that's going to help you navigate through all of this, to help you know what's truly right for you and to be more confident in that. I know a lot of women are kind of back and forth on what truly is right. A lot of that inner turmoil, and this program will help you figure that out. There's included with this, there's weekly course modules for independent work. These are going to help kind of increase your understanding of yourself in this situation and everything that's a part of this. It's going to provide you guidance to help start prioritizing yourself, help you start shifting your mindset. There's so much fear and guilt and worry that can really kind of get you into a negative mindset when going through this. So it will help you look at things from another perspective and support you in taking action. So then you also have access to the general late life lesbian community. This is a space where that's open to any women on this journey. So you have access to that. And then within that, a separate support program space, which is just for members of the Coming Out on the Other Side program. And in there is a group chat with me and the other members where you can actually get support 7 days a week. And then with that too, there's an option for a weekly Zoom call. Those right now are Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, but there is access to the recordings in case you can't join live. So with that, there is a fee for this program, and I want to go over that with you just so you know. So I have 3 different options for this. There is a basic support, standard, and premium. So everything I just described above falls under this premium level. The total investment for that is $1,500, which breaks down to about $125 a week. If you feel like maybe you don't need that much support, and maybe you can't make the Zoom calls, then there's the standard support, which gives you everything, but you just don't have access to those Zoom calls. That is $996 total investment at $83 a week. And then the basic support is if you really just kind of want to still go through this on your own and maybe not connect with other people, or, it's a more budget-friendly option if you need something, but, you literally just don't have the finances right now to invest in something a little bit more intensive. And this is access to the weekly courses and just access to the basic community. All right, so this is the special offer that I have for you. For the next 72 hours, if anybody is here watching this and you decide that you would like to work with me and to join this program, I'm offering the premium level of support for the standard level price. Okay, so that is over a $500 savings on this program. And with that, I'm actually offering 2 bonus courses, which is number 1, a crash course in divorce and child custody. A lot of women going through this are very worried about divorce and what this means for their kids and can look like for families. So I kind of go over just some brief things in that to give you a little bit of clarity. And number 2 is when and how to tell your children. So if you have kids, I know that's another real big fear of, how do I share this with them and come out to them? So that's another bonus course where I talk about ways in which you can do that. I also want to let you know that there are payment plans and financing available. I will have a link in the description to this if you decide that you want to go ahead and do this. When you go to check out through Affirm in Klarna, there are a couple different options that you can choose for payment plans and financing. There's a couple interest-free options and a couple options that do have interest, but again, shrink your monthly payment to help you pay over time if, again, finances might be a concern for you. And the last thing I'm offering with this is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you were to join the program, you participate in all aspects and then just feel it's just not the right fit for you, at the end of the 30 days, you can quit and receive a full refund, minus there's some fees that just don't come back. And that's just the processing. But with this, so I want to share this disclaimer. If you decide that you want to join this program, I want people who really want to be in it, who want to have the support. And that's why it says you must participate. This includes participating in the group chat and posting and sharing. And you also have to complete the weekly course modules within this 30-day time period that are available to you and show me that, because I don't want people to join this program and just kind of like check it out and go, it's not for me. I don't want to, the people that get the most out of joining this are the people that are engaged and that are active. So, but with the other part of that too is I don't want people to join and actually be active and engaged and just go, you know what, this isn't right for me. I don't want to take your money for that. So I genuinely want people to get the help and the support they need to get through this, because this is a hard journey, and it's a lot to get through. So this is a special offer I have for you. Premium support level, the standard price for the next 72 hours if you want to join. And also, I'm offering some free consultation calls. So if you have some questions and you want to chat one-on-one with me, you can book a free consultation call to do that. And then I want to go into, if for some reason the program is just something that you're not ready for, or feel may not be helpful for you, you can also join just the Late Life Lesbian community. This is access to the general community. It's a place to connect with other women going through this. And women here are all typically at various stages of this journey. Some may already be out and kind of more on the other end of the other side of it. Some may be right in this messy middle stage. It's for anyone who has been on this journey. I typically do a monthly workshop on topics related to this journey just for members of the community. And you have support and engagement with the members there. So this is a paid for option too, but a really affordable way to go. You can either choose $5.99 a month or $47 a year. And both of those options come with a free 1-week trial. So if you decide that, you want to come check that out, that is one where you can just, within your first week, you're like, nope, not the place for me. You can leave and you aren't charged anything for that. All right. So things you might be thinking now after going through all of this, we're about to wrap up, is, I don't know if I can afford support, or I just don't know if I'm ready, and I'm not sure that my husband would approve, or I don't want to be convinced that I have to leave my husband, or other little things and thoughts that may be holding you back. These again are normal too. And this is a quote that I really like and I think is really powerful because there's so much fear with this. And fear would rather keep you in a familiar hell than allow you to experience an unknown heaven. This is just how fear works. Fear wants to stick with what it knows. And this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to get through this, because it feels safer to stay right where you are rather than to actually start doing something to get through this and to start figuring out what's truly right for you. Also, it's really scary to think about investing money in yourself and to think about, the change that this could mean for your life, and I also want to say, as far as being convinced to leave your husband, kind of like I mentioned above, I have no desire to convince you this is what you have to do. But if you do work with me, I will push you. I will ask you hard questions because my goal is to help you figure out what is truly right for you. All right. The other thing to think about too is if you do nothing, you're guaranteed to stay right where you are. And I don't know, maybe you're okay with that, but I know that in time, this gets really, really heavy and it's really hard to continue staying where you are. So, and if you don't do anything, that's exactly where you're going to stay. And is that where you want to stay? Do you want to stay in this messy middle stage? Because this stage is rough. So, and the other thing to think about this too is, what is this costing you to not do anything? Your mental health, emotional health, physical health. How long have you been struggling already? And how much longer do you want to continue struggling? 3 months, 6 months, a year? I've known some women that have come to me who've been struggling this for 10 plus years. That's a long time. So the other thing I want to remind you of is, all of the women that went through this and shared that they made it through and had no regrets and felt happier and at peace and fulfilled, there really is no reason you can't have that too. You just have to kind of start facing those fears and take some action and start doing something. And I shared this. Remember the woman's experience about how she struggled with her mental health and depression and anorexia and, was in debt, had literally racked up so much debt from spending. But after she actually did something and acknowledged this and embraced this, how radically her life changed. So it can be a really good thing. Sometimes it's just really hard to take that step. So if you are ready and you decide that I am somebody that you would like to work with, I will have links below this video to learn more and get additional information. If I'm not somebody you want to work with, that's fine. If you're not ready, that's fine too. I will continue putting content out there and, doing what I can to support you. But if you ever decide, you know where to find me. So, and also just a final note, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be at peace and your needs do matter. All right. So that is all I have for you all. Thank you to everyone that's here. I'm going to go through and answer some of the questions I have, but I also want to let you know that if you want to contact or connect with me, you can do that on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all at The Late Life Lesbian. Same username on all of those platforms. Or you can email me directly at thelateliflesbian@gmail.com. And as I said, there you can also book a free 30-minute consultation call if you would like to discuss with me your personal situation some more with this. All right, let me go to the comments that I've had. Oh, this is funny. Where are these gorgeous women meeting each other asking for me? Oh, they just met each other here. I don't know. Guess in Missouri. Late Life Lesbians in Missouri. Let's see. When you're already on the precipice of everything changing, have the needed support, but still feel like a deer in the headlights, what do you recommend? I think you just kind of have to, sorry, I was processing that. I was reading and just processing. I'm sorry. I think you just kind of have to keep going, this is a hard journey, but it's kind of that whole one foot in front of the other. If you stop, your journey stops. But even if you take small, little, tiny steps every day, you eventually reach your end destination. Sometimes you might have to stop and rest, and sometimes you might even stumble back a little bit. But if you keep going and you keep taking those steps, find ways that, work for you to encourage yourself, to motivate you in some way, be kind with yourself. This is a sensitive journey and it's a lot. Be kind, show yourself grace. But I think it's really just continuing to take the steps forward. So hope that helps. Thank you so much. All right, that was all the questions. If nobody has any other questions, we'll go ahead and end this. But again, these are the ways in which you can contact me. Book a free call if you want to chat some more about your personal situation. Just continue to follow my content. I'm going to try to start doing a few more of these live workshops on some various topics. So yeah, maybe I will see you in those too. So thank you everyone for attending, and hopefully I'll see you again in another one soon.